Hi, this is Saeed again with the Bloom Show, brought to you by New Bloom Solutions and Above All Flowers. And this is a special episode at Next Gen Live in Miami, Florida. And it's a special episode as well because this time we did a little something different, and all the speakers were bringing them into the show to give a little behind the scenes of how the show went and what it meant for them and how did their presentation go. So today we are honored and have the privilege of having Jessica Kegerreis, awesome last name. Jessica, where are you from?
I'm from Syndicate Sales.
Okay.
And I am the marketing director there. So we have a really fun job of marketing our products and making them beautiful and selling them to wholesalers and retailers.
And I saw the great stuff that pitch that you gave of some cool innovation. Let's talk about that soon. And then Mr. Renato Sogueco, personal friend. We went fishing yesterday. Now everybody knows that we went fishing. But tell us about yourself, Renato.
Well, just on that fishing thing, official count was 33.
33, you counted them?
Fish, yes.
There you go. We caught 33 fish yesterday.
Well, Sahi, thank you so much for having me on your show. And it was a wonderful presentation with Jessica. She did an amazing job. I'm the VP of Digital Strategy at BloomNet, and its subsidiary. I'm the director, or not the director of education. I'm also the VP of Education for Florology Institute. And I'll start there first. That's where we have this wonderful education center in Jacksonville, Florida, where florists, you don't have to be a BloomNet member, it could be any florist, are welcome to take hands-on classes to improve their both design and business skills.
Awesome. And you were involved with SAF for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Know that and don't know that.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting because, believe it, I still get people that come up to me and ask me questions about SAF. And these are kind of longtime friends that I would think are a little bit connected. They're plugged into the industry, and I realize they probably don't realize I had left. But that was like 6 years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was SAF's longtime chief information officer for a good 12 years.
Oh, there you go.
Before this gig at BloomNet. So.
Gotcha. Cool. So again, thank you again for being here, and just for the viewers, this is an interactive community type opportunity. Is to ask questions, chime in, and if you want to, promote or how do you say support and give a shout out to anybody, please feel free to do that as well. So we'll jump into the question. How has your experience been here, Jessica? How's Next Gen been? What have you thought about the experience so far?
Well, I mean, this is kind of my first full year of being at a lot of industry events, and this one really stands out to me. It's very unique just in not only the demographic that it's going after, but the things that it's focusing on, right? So the future, the product, the innovation, and then just how things are changing with the industry and how this generation can be a part of that, driving it, changing it. That's so exciting to me, and it's exciting to Syndicate Sales because we want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of those products that they're using, and part of the processes that they're innovating and changing and adapting and improving. We want to be a part of that. We want to be at the forefront of that. So whether that's sustainability or using products that make their lives easier or more profitable, this crowd seems to be passionate for that, and I love that. That breathes new life into our products and into our business. Yeah. That's what I love about this event so far.
How about you, Donella?
That's interesting. We complement each other so well, and we showed it in the presentation because I have a very good contrasting experience from Jessica. I just said I've been in this industry for quite a long time, and there's one thing wonderful about this event that even though I've been in this industry a long time, I know nobody. I look around and I see all these new faces to this industry, and I think that alone is awesome. So I'm looking forward to making a lot of new friends, and as you said, there's a lot of innovation out there with these new folks within the industry, and it's a bright future, I think, for our industry in general. At Florology, we love that. We love to tell those types of stories. So, I'm looking forward to getting some of those folks down to our education center and teaching them, but also learning from them.
And I think particularly as it relates to education, this generation, this age group they aren't stuck in their ways yet. Like a lot of florists are,
Okay.
when
Yeah.
they, they learned a certain way and they just keep doing it that way. And it's sometimes hard to break those habits.
Very.
They're just now building these habits. And they're also not really interested in staying within those habits, this new generation. So
Yeah.
we're excited to, have that education aspect to teach them some foundational ways to do things, but also let them innovate and come up with hacks and things that make things easier for them or quicker or more profitable.
And I think it's also a testament to the sponsors and to the companies that sent their employees.
Right.
Because as Renato says, a lot of unfamiliar faces,
Right.
which is a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because usually you know everybody, and here there's some young blood and they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, but just to add to that point, the floral companies that have sent their folks, these are the people that I'm familiar with. So
The companies.
that's
yes.
one way that the old, has said, what, we need to invest more in our future.
Yep.
And if I have a bunch of young folks in at our business, even though that we've grown up in this industry as well. I mean, you're talking about second, third generation businesses.
You heard that yesterday.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
pretty
totally.
cool. Yeah.
And they're sending their new folks down here to network. Then that's really the value of these types of meetings.
Yeah. And we even saw people that have been in the industry for 3 months.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if they're investing in them, they're putting them in and they're plugging them in to get that energy.
Yeah. And it's the value of the community in as a whole, right?
Okay.
And so, sending them so that they can start building their own community with their
Yes.
own support system and network to keep that moving throughout the generations moving forward.
Exactly. Well said. And then, so tell us a little bit about the presentation. Give us the overall perspective. What was your presentation about, and what roles did you have to play?
Well, I'll of course this is on camera, so it's going to be for the record. But it was an extreme challenge for us because the challenge was, convey to florists the value of better photography, pass on essential tips on how to create this photography and be consistent about it, and again convince them of the value that they invest whatever amount they need to invest in this equipment. But I think it went well because we were very straightforward with these challenges, and they'd be like, no problem, because we weren't going to get into any kind of weird debates about what equipment's better or how much is this, and how much, kind of that minutia. We were just all about this is like the for the present and future of your business. And I think this is my personal view. Your Instagram profile, personal or business, whatever you put on Facebook, it's truly your persona.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people get to know you, probably first, and sometimes the only way people will get to know you. So you really have to treat your electronic brand as the brand.
Yeah.
And so many people, consumers especially in the wedding and events industry, they look to those sources first to filter who they're going to work with for their wedding or who they're going to use for an event if they're professional. They're checking those sources first. They're checking people, friend recommendations and such, but they're validating that on your social media feeds, on your website. And so then by the time they've actually picked up a phone to call you, they've already done a lot of stalking and they've already got a lot of questions. They know your brand, they know what to expect. And that honestly, it kind of makes your job a little easier at that point when you do come into communication with them one-on-one, because they've already gotten themselves up to speed. But you need to make sure as a professional that you're putting out the right things to communicate so that you're attracting the people that you want to work with, that gel with your brand, that gel with your design skills and your approach.
And it's a representation of you and your brand. So
Absolutely.
everything you do, you have to do it well. And I noticed the setup you had at $1,000. That was very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That was very realistic and very professional. I remember doing a setup myself, and I was around that ballpark, but it wasn't so professional years ago.
Well, we were talking about the challenge that florists have of having, knowing the value proposition to spend even that $1,000.
Exactly.
But then, when we said to them, well, some of this equipment could cost $3,000, and that's just for the camera body alone.
Right.
But with 1/3 of that spend, we kept on saying we could get you 99.9% of the way there if you had the complete studio set up with the most advanced camera, with the most advanced lighting. You really don't need that. And our plea really, let's just get started. We even said, you don't even need that camera. You have that camera in your pocket that you could start with, just to get going.
Exactly. And it's about really get started.
Just getting started.
Get started. And what will come eventually is the knowledge of something that maybe isn't working for you based on what you're trying to capture.
Yeah.
And then you can supplement with the gadgets, with the other expensive equipment to solve for that issue. But until you identify it as an issue based on how you are capturing your images and putting out your brand, don't go spending all that money because you may not need it.
And you may never
what
use
you may
it
need
either.
is this other thing. And you'll only know that after you've gotten started and you're learning from that experience.
And then to kind of summarize your presentation, what are top 3 things to think of when doing photography? And we could start with you.
Okay, so I actually
start
wrote
first.
them out. But
All right.
Right on.
That's why Renato
say
like.
She has a note.
for floral photography in particular, I'll say, because I've done, I've actually dabbled in family photography and wedding photography as well. But for floral photography, keep your background simple so the flowers shine.
Yeah.
If that's what you're selling, embrace it. Make sure it's the focus. Don't clutter your backgrounds, and just keep it simple. Second thing, immediately review your photo after you've captured it to check for things that may not be desirable. If you remember, this is a 3-dimensional object, but it's a 2-dimensional image. And so what comes across on that flat phone screen when you're, scrolling through Instagram, it's not going to feel the same as if you're in person. So review your photo and check for dark spots, check for bruised blooms, check for dehydrated leaves and stems, and do your best immediately to solve for those. By just tweaking your design a little bit, moving things around, you can really get a great shot from that. And then third, lighting. Know your lighting, know where your light source is coming from, find the light wherever you are. Those are my 3. I don't know what you think.
Those are great responses. So I'm in a tough position to fill it out. But I think what I'll do is I'll start first on the lighting, just to add a little technical to that. We talked a lot about the difference between daylight lighting and kind of, a tungsten lighting, which is kind of this orangey lighting. So daylight lighting, and we passed on a scientific term called Kelvin. So all the lights that, we promoted to use in our session are all like 5600K lighting, while most lights in hotels or wherever you are is like kind of this orangey lighting, which is at 3300. And the challenge with that type of lighting is that it does make your flowers look orangey and yellowish. And then sometimes you may get a customer coming into your shop saying, "Oh wait, these aren't the exact color that I saw on your website." Yeah. But they're looking at it because they have it right by a window, which is daylight, of course, lighting, which is 5600K. So, I know that's quite technical, but it's still very important.
Right.
And just to add to Jessica's point about know your environment. So I love the term that we use, reconning. If you're an event florist, for example, and you want to capture all the arrangements like on a table or whatever, as soon as you enter a room, look around and look at all the lighting sources that you have. So if you have a big window like that has a lot of natural light coming in, it's totally okay to pick up that piece
and move it.
Take
and
it to
move
the
it
light.
there, just to be sure that you have that wonderful.
And natural light is always.
Is always the preferred. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, that would be my takeaway.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the easiest. It's easy accessible, right? It's easily accessible because it's always going to be somewhere. You can always take your arrangement to a window. Hauling around a bunch of light boxes and LED lights is a little bit more difficult. Sometimes you don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have the space.
Yeah.
So I would always go towards a window, and you can get a lot from it.
Yeah. And that's something we try to do, but sometimes there's rain or see, and that's why it's always good to have an option.
Right.
And then I'm not sure how to word this question, but how important is photography for each of your companies? And can you give an example of how you use it on a daily basis for your companies?
You want me to go first? Sure. Okay. Well, we have a lot of uses for it.
Okay.
From the floriology side, we publish like a digital magazine.
Yeah.
You know, and we also publish online courses.
Okay.
You know, that have a lot of this product photography in it. So it has to be excellent, you know, in order, well, to have some credibility with the public.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we have to learn all these advanced techniques very quickly. And then on the other side of the business, on the BloomNet side, we obviously work with a network of florists that, you know, sell from our catalog.
Okay.
So all those product shots have to be extremely accurate, you know, because whatever we provide them, that they will show on their website, that they collaborate with us, the consumer also sees. And again, it's back to that challenge. Well, is that what I purchased? You know, that's why those photos have to be extremely accurate and of high quality.
And you use it for multiple functions, right? Because I feel that most companies nowadays, and this is something I saw 5 or 6 years ago, was that we're turning into media companies, right? Micro little media companies that for your Instagram, you need good pictures, good content. For your newsletter, you need good content. For your emails, you need good content. So do you find that you're doing it on a daily basis, that this is not becoming an option anymore?
Absolutely. So for Syndicate, we sell products that are, I would say, more timeless, right? They've been in the catalog for years. Excuse me. And they're more, everyday items. But it's important for us as Syndicate to show those as relevant still today. So even though this silhouette of a vase was created back in 1970, it's still relevant today, and here's how. So we have to show with photographs that it's still relevant today, this vase, this classic timeless vase. And here's how. It's with this bouquet, with this color scheme, with this floral palette, in this type of wedding or what have you. So that's really important. We also have new products coming in for seasons that, you know, we have to capture those, turn those photos in to catalogs that sell every season, take lifestyle photography that we can do social posts with, we can put them on our website, we can put them in emails. And, you know, on a daily basis, we may not be capturing photos, but we're using photos all the time to communicate. Almost every communication that goes out from Syndicate has a photo with it, because it's so much more impactful. So yeah, I would agree with it. It tells the story. It communicates the brand. It communicates the essence, the feel of these hard goods in everyday life. And so I would agree. Every Syndicate's a mini media company because we're using these photos in all different channels of media.
There's so many different channels now.
And, just a quick add to that. You mentioned the word timeless. One thing about photos, they stick around.
They do.
So, you have to put that into your perspective when you capture these things. And know that whatever you captured may end up being around on the internet for years. I've done searches all the time, and I do see 7, 8-year-old photos, stuff I took. I'm like, maybe I should have put a little bit more thought in, before I made it public on social or something like that. I know that's a personal application, but the same applies to your company too.
I think as much as video is such a huge, it's kind of taking over in terms of how many people are using it and how well it communicates and educates. There can be some dated qualities to video. So photography is still something that is timeless, and if you do it the right way, you wouldn't know that photo was taken 20 years ago. But if you do a video, there's certain aspects of video that date it. Whether it's the way the people, the haircut of the person in the video, or the rig that you're using, people can tell that's old, that sounds old, that there's certain things that can date it. So the timeless aspect of photography, I don't think you can ever get away from.
Very true about the haircuts.
Right?
I'm a child of the 80s. And I saw some
just depends on the
photos of my pals and myself during the 80s. Like, oh, that was big hair.
So what were you rocking? A mullet?
No, it's the mohawk.
The mohawk. Not the
I
mohawk.
have the bangs that teased up because I was also 80s.
I'm the 80s, and when I was a young kid, I did. You remember Boomer Esiason?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The 2 lines?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I rocked them.
See the fact that we all know
You know,
that.
that's back now though, so I mean,
I was 8, 10, 12 years old, and I was rocking the Boomer Esiason lines.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about this event a little bit more. And I know we kind of talked about it in the beginning. And thank you again for those great tips and for giving us a little insight to your presentation. But how important is it for companies like yours to support initiatives like this? And I know we're kind of repeating ourselves from the beginning, but I thought it was important to really highlight that.
Well, for Syndicate, I think it's important to stay connected to the younger audience, the younger florists, to understand what's important to them, so that we can be innovating and developing product that meet their needs.
Yeah.
But we also just, we want to support this community because when we all succeed, we all succeed when we're all working together. So when Syndicate can reach out and understand their needs, when we can meet people and hear their stories, it better informs our process. It better informs our product, and we can serve them better, so that the whole industry can continue forward.
Great, well said.
Well, one thing that a company like Syndicate has an advantage is that their products are like an everyday thing for a florist. And I'll just throw it out there. The challenge for a company like BloomNet, who partners with florists as a floral service provider, it's not like an everyday tangible thing that may be in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to constantly share with all these new florists. Hey, you know what? We have all these great products and services that we could partner with you on, but they have to recognize that, oh wait, BloomNet is a company that provides these services, because again, it's not a tangible thing in front of them.
Yeah.
So that's our challenge. And one thing cool, about BloomNet is I'm here, I'm speaking with Jessica. Where I was like a week ago, I was at Florida State.
Yes.
So for 2 straight weeks, I haven't been to the office, and that work is piling up. But with a company like BloomNet, they were like, hey, it's okay, because we understand that you're out there sharing all this great knowledge. Again, to what Jessica was saying, is that the success of a florist in our case is paramount to our success and everyone else's success. So I think that's why it's super critical, for us to always be in front of like the new batch of retailer out there, and let them know that like there's competition out there among all our florist service providers, but we're there, and we're an option, and we're engaging, and we're investing in your education.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel the value of us participating in it, and especially with like Jessica presenting, myself presenting, that hey, we actually do care. And it is time and all this other stuff, but that time is really critical, because like you said, I've been around for a while, but there was one person that came up to me and said to me, you don't know me, but we met 10 years ago, and you gave me this one tip that I use in my business, and it's transformed.
That's awesome. So that's worth everything.
It's worth everything. Exactly.
That's worth everything.
Yeah.
And then how do your company support that next gen company culture? How do you support the next gen in your company?
Yeah, let me
All right.
think about that one. I
Maybe
know
she
what
wants
it
to write that one down, but that's perfectly fine. It's very
well,
kind.
I don't know if people know this in general. I mean, of course I know it, and most people know it. But BloomNet is a subsidiary of 800 Flowers.
Yeah.
So 800 Flowers, maybe the past couple of years, have launched a great diversity inclusion, program at work.
Okay.
So part of that, of course, is age diversity. And that's really part of the company's DNA now. So even in our own office, it's wonderful to see how pretty much every generation is represented. And then even when we open up like new new openings, you know, we're not forced, but you know, like we have that filter on because it's dictated by this strive for diversity, to be sure that we interview that 60-year-old person that, you know, is starting a second career.
Yeah.
In addition to the 20-year-old out of college, and, you know, see if they could contribute to the company productivity as well as culture.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing, and I'm speaking a little bit passionately, but I'm part of that committee, you know, at 800 Flowers. So I know that the time that was involved with them investing into this initiative, and I think it's important.
Very important. You have an answer? It's
I do.
All right.
I mean, we support this community by, you know, doing product donations for schools, for educational kits, to teach younger florists those foundations. We also do quite a bit of work with hands-on workshops going into wholesale florists so that those retailers can come in and learn some of the product and how to use it, and how it can help solve problems for their business, or as they're growing their business.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a lot of product donations, and we do a lot of support with education, in-person education for
they're great supporters of floriology.
Yeah.
Syndicate Sales.
We also do have some online, you know, content, but we understand that we aren't the main place to go for that. For that, you go to someone like Renato and their platform. But we do support that by partnering and finding those opportunities that can really bring the best of all of it together to teach these new florists what's out there for them, you know.
Great.
And I mean, they're all savvy, so they know how to find this stuff themselves, but sometimes there's so much that sometimes the actual the best you can do for them is say, this is the one that you should actually. So kind of helping to filter out the noise to pass along that information to them out.
Great, thank you. So final quick questions, and I have fun with these questions at the end, just so people get to know you. We're running a little crunch of time, so I'm going to pick a couple of my favorites. So we'll go with Jessica first. What's your favorite flower?
I like the peony.
Me too. That's my favorite.
I love peony.
Cat, dog, or plants?
Plants.
Favorite song?
I don't have one. I love all songs. It depends on my mood.
And what is the most interesting thing about you that we do not know?
My goodness. I don't.
Kind of like yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I swear I'm interesting.
So you might not know that about her.
Yeah.
Jessica's interesting.
I'm a voracious reader. I don't know.
You're a big bookworm?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
it's not interesting.
And Renato, how about yourself? Favorite flower?
Well, it was a peony, but since you guys
took that one.
The second one is ranunculus.
Yes, nice. Similar.
Yeah.
A cat, dog, or plants?
I used to be dog, but now a plant.
Now you're plant. A lot easier, right? Favorite song? You have to have a favorite song.
Yeah, Claire de Lune.
Okay. All right. And then what is the most interesting thing about you that no one knows?
No one knows?
Or maybe your wife knows, but you can share.
Well, I mean, I think I've
you can publicly share. So
but I'm an aquaponic farmer.
He is, yeah.
So I grow fish and vegetables.
Yeah, exactly.
In my house.
That is pretty cool.
I have, if you want to consider them pets, the fish, I have about 600 pets. He's kind of a
MacGyver. He's kind of a MacGyver. So Jessica, let me pop this up. So Jessica Clark says, I'm a seasoned generation florist, over 25 years experience, and would love to contribute to this platform. I assume you're saying Next Gen, Jessica, and you could reach out to SAF, reach out to them, and I think they'll be very open to hearing from you and seeing how you can participate next year. And I think they're planning to do it next year as well. Over 160 participants came to the event. So I think it was a great turnout, right?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So thank you so much again for being here, Jessica and Renato. Thank you for your time. I know they did their presentation and I gave them 15 minutes to make it here. So thank you so much for making it and really making the effort to come and sharing with the Next Gen.
Thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Till next time. Thank you again, everybody, and tune in because at 12 or so, we're going to have another episode as well. So make sure to tune in. Thank you.